Hi everyone, welcome to my live video, my live Facebook page I should say. I'm so happy to be with you tonight. In light of what happened this weekend, I would like to begin with a prayer for peace and the elimination of hatred, not only globally but in this country. How horrible the events were that took place yesterday. How horrible because of the hate that oozed yesterday. We live in a country where there is free speech. We live in a country where we have the right to protest. But as human beings made in the image of the Creator, we don't have a right to hate. And so I pray for all of us that we may be the models of love, that we may go about our lives showing love, lack of prejudice and discrimination, and help our fellow human beings, no matter who and what they are. And we pray for these people who are so consumed with hate. We pray that they may find the light, that they may see that their actions go against our God, our Creator, the one God that we all share. Amen. Okay, let's see. So tonight I wanted to talk a little bit about my process, and then I will answer questions for you. As many of you know, I'm a born medium, so I didn't have some of the wonderful stories we read out there of being hit on the head and then all of a sudden being able to be clairvoyant. I was born this way. I saw Mary for the first time when I was 5, but I've seen angels and saints and prophets and grandfathers and grandmothers for as long as I can remember. I didn't always talk about them. I didn't always do what I do now. It took a lot of courage to do what I do now because there's a lot of criticism and not a lot of acceptance within religions. But I truly feel that I'm a vehicle through which God, Mary, your loved ones can come through. I have surrendered myself completely to God to use me as His instrument. At this point, Mary is using me as her instrument as she pretty much wrote the book that is coming out on October 17th, Conversations with Mary. She is leading the process. No matter what ups and downs I have around this book, I'm just giving it to her. If there's a problem, I'm giving it to her. Because the way this happened is miraculous. I didn't seek a publisher. I didn't have a book. I wasn't writing a book. It was one of those coincidental things. So I got a book deal with one of the biggest publishers in the world without an agent, without any knowledge of really what this book was going to be in the end. And here it is. It's not my labor of love. It's Mary's labor of love. It's how she comes through me. My labor of love is what I do every day with the people that come to my office. As I sit and pray for everyone and meditate and help them on their path to heal or closure, whatever they need, that's my labor of love. That's why I do what I do. Someone said to me, wow, why do you do this? It can be really depressing. I don't look at it that way. I look at it as bringing love through to people is not depressing at all. It's happiness, knowing that these people that you don't see physically are still around you is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And I hope I can do this forever and a day. So with that, let's see if anyone has any questions. A lot of people saying hello to me. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I don't see any questions, so I will go on. First of all, the Ridgefield Playhouse is 50% sold out. You know, I say this every week. I try to update you because I know November's far away. But if you want a seat on the floor, I would really get your tickets soon. Otherwise, you know, not that the balconies are bad, but that's where you'll be. I'm doing a book signing at the Corkscrew Bookstore on October 17th, which is the day my book launches. I will be doing a book signing at RJ Julia on October 25th. I will also be doing book signings at restaurants, and we will keep you up to date on all of that. So stay tuned. I also just posted a retreat. Oh, I didn't post it. I will post the retreat that will take place in Mexico in, I think, May of 2018. So stay tuned in for that as well. Okay, so will you teach us to meditate to find our past lives? Well, that's hard to do through Facebook, only because it's regression, it's hypnosis. So I can't do that on Facebook. I will tell you this, though. If you meditate, ask to see it. If you journey the shamanic way, that's a wonderful way to meet your guides and see who you were in a past life, because they'll take you there if you want. But the best way to do it is really to be regressed. I'm doing a workshop in October. I'm guessing, but I think that's the 22nd. You can sign up for that. It's a half-day workshop on a weekend, and I will be teaching you about regression. I will teach you how to do it on your own, and I will also regress you. So if you're interested in that, I would certainly sign up for that workshop. Again, I know it's October, but all these things are limited, you know, in terms of space, and the space I use is not that big. Okay, so Beth, you have to register for that. If someone you were close to died 30 or 40 years ago and they don't come through in a reading, does that mean they've reincarnated? Not necessarily. It could mean you didn't need to hear from them. You know, I tell people all the time, it's not who you want to hear from, it's who you need to hear from. You know, as human beings, we always sit in the driver's seat. We want to control, and who we want to see from is who we want to hear from. It doesn't work that way. So just because you haven't heard from them, it doesn't mean they reincarnated. Maybe, maybe not. You know, that would be a good thing to ask in a reading. I'm not hearing from this person. Do you feel this person is reincarnated? That's something that if you had a reading with me, I would be more than able to answer for you. But it doesn't mean they're reincarnated. And you know, they could have, and here's a great story. So I was doing a reading with a woman, and I was talking to her about her relatives that were coming through, and I kept seeing this man who, you know, I knew, don't ask me how I knew, was William the Conqueror. Now, William the Conqueror lived an awful long time ago. So I asked her, I said, I know this is crazy, but, and maybe he's just coming as a sign, or I'm not really seeing him, maybe it's just a sign about somebody else in your family, but William the Conqueror is here. And she laughed and she said, yeah, he's in my ancestral tree, you know, so he was related to her. So, you know, sometimes they reincarnate and then they go back, you know, into their place in the divine realm, and they can show themselves in any way they want. So they can show to me any lifetime they want. So it doesn't matter how long they're past. 30 or 40 years is not very long. Oh, Claudia, I meant to answer this question last week, and then I couldn't remember who asked it of me. I have a problem in that I don't have a belief system. I don't believe in a higher being or a God. Let's see. You have channeled my mother, but I never feel her presence. You told me she was all around me when I came to see you. I feel incomplete because I can't do this without you. First of all, not having a belief system is a belief system. Look at it that way. So you do have a belief system. You don't believe in anything, but you do believe I can be in touch with your mother. So that's interesting. So I think you need to explore that, because if I can be in touch with your mother, that means she still exists. So where do you think she exists? It's not about believing in a God. Higher power would be helpful, only because higher power takes you out of your ego and says there's something so much greater than we are. Something so much greater that created the mountains and the trees. And I don't know if you've ever been to the Grand Teton, but it's magnificent, that kind of thing. So I think you really need to think about, is there something greater than us? And if your answer is no, I don't believe that, then where does the energy go? I'm telling you it's right here, okay? In their heaven, okay? And it's full of love and peace. If that's what you want to believe, without believing anything else, and that's up to you. Just believe this, that we were all created in love. All of us. And it's our role and our duty to spread that love among all people, to people we come in contact with. That's it. If you believe in that, it's okay. It's up to you. Okay, let's see. Whoops. Let's see. Tonight I am not doing private messages here because it's really hard without having a conversation, because I just kind of leave you hanging, and I don't think that's fair to you. So I'm really trying not to do that. Except Beth, your husband's fine. Okay, let me go up here. Yes, Beth, Mexico. The place in Mexico I'm doing the retreat at is unbelievable. It is beautiful. It's a spa, and it's an hour and a half outside of Mexico City, where mostly Mexicans go to vacation, not a lot of Americans, and it's untouched. It's beautiful. I went there last year, and I just fell in love with it. It's so spiritual. So yes, Mexico. So hopefully we'll get that posted and sent out, and very soon. Okay, let me go down here again. You're very welcome, Claudia. I hope I was able to answer that. That's, believe in whatever you don't believe in or do believe in. Hi, Anna. I know you're a Reiki master. Do you ever incorporate Reiki into your readings or readings into your Reiki sessions? Well, these days, I am not doing Reiki sessions. I am really not doing past life regressions. I am overwhelmed with doing readings. There are lots and lots and lots of Reiki practitioners around, so I leave it to them now. I can recommend people, but I'm not doing that anymore. I liked it when I was doing it, and when I did do it, the readings did come through, because I can't stop it from coming, but I'm not doing that anymore. Do I incorporate Reiki within the readings? What's Reiki? Reiki is innate love coming through. I channel love. That's what I do. So call it Reiki, call it love. I send healing to people as they're sitting across from me. I do it all. I'm a healer. That's what I do. Again, I am God's instrument. So I just follow what needs to be done. That's it. And as I said, these days it's Mary really conducting an awful lot around me. So when you come for a reading, there's a double boost. I meditate for you. I pray for you. I'm a healer. I'm bringing through healing from the other side for you in a way that they see best. And I'm sitting and holding space for you in love. So that's what happens when you come to me for a reading. What's the best way to connect with a loved one who passed recently? First of all, if a loved one passed recently, it might be very hard to connect with them. They stay around for the first month, and after that, they're kind of finding their place. So look at it as like they're finding an apartment, okay? And then they have a hard time using the energy that's at their disposal because they really don't know how to use it. They were sick or it was traumatic. In whatever way, they kind of have to regroup their energy. So it's really hard to connect with them until around 9 to 10 months. But they do come through in dreams, okay? Even when they first pass, they come through in dreams. Again, the first month, 6 weeks, they're coming through because they're trying to help us with our grief, okay? Pay attention to your dreams. Sometimes you can't see them, but you know it's them. It's all about feeling. Everybody wants to see. Yet being able to feel them is so much better than seeing. You can feel their love. You can feel their personalities. When I do readings with people, I see them, I feel them, but it's the feeling that to me is everything. Because I know who they were and who they still are, what that energy is all about. You can do the same thing. And once you're talking to them for a while, they'll start sending you signs. But talk to them. Talk to them in the car, talk to them wherever you may be. Because they do respond, but you got to give them some time. If someone passed 20 years ago, are they still around or doing their own thing? Well, as I said before, William the Conqueror was around for that woman. He's gone a lot more than 20 years. Doing their own thing. That's an interesting question. You know, that's up there with people asking me if we're bothering those in spirit, if we just leave them alone. They come through because they love you. You're not bothering them. They're still doing their own thing, okay? It's hard for us to conceptualize because we're human beings and we don't understand that world, which is so different from the world we're in. I mean, we can't even imagine it. As much as I know about it, it's hard for me really to fully get my head around it because I'm living this life now. They will come through for forever. If somebody come to a medium, the medium can bring through again thousands of years, 100 years, 20 years, 10 years, 1 year. It doesn't really matter. Love is love. And the bond to family, whether it's a blood relation, blood tie, even if you were adopted, okay, you're attached to your biological family and your adopted family by energy. So it's the energy of love that precedes everything. Okay, let's see. If hearts are appearing in many forms, Missy, I would question whether it's a sign from somebody, because that doesn't just happen. It's usually a sign. They love to send things that represent love. So whether it's the word love, whether it's rocks, shells, clouds, trees, someone is trying to say they love you. And you just need to recognize it. You know who it is. And so you need to vocalize that and say, this is who it is, and I recognize it, and I accept it, and I love you. That's what it's all about. Send them love back. And by the way, you know, people always praying for those who passed. You don't need to pray for them. They're okay. They're okay. Because they send the prayers right back to us. Okay? Short of people who were horrific in life, everybody else is okay. Those people are going through life reviews and rehabs and all kinds of stuff. You know, no fire though. Okay? But all kinds of stuff. So, but even they don't need prayers because they're working it out. Their souls are working it out. We need the prayers. Come on, look at what's happening in this country. Look, it's crazy. You know, what's going on in the world. It's hatred. It's pain. We need the prayers. We need the prayers. Heaven is weeping for us. Hi, Anna. I have had several dreams from several past relatives. They told me they have jobs. Is that true? My Aunt Cecilia, told me she works in heaven. My Uncle Bear said he works with children. All interesting to me. But work here in the physical world, hard. Working in heaven, because it's not hard to work in heaven. This is a realm of pure love, okay? Working with children, helping the souls of children acclimate to where they are. They have jobs. They have jobs that they volunteer for. Nobody makes them do it. They volunteer out of love. I've told many people that their relatives were on the welcoming committee, which is welcoming, you know, their other relatives in when they passed. You know, there are souls that bring beauty to heaven. There's souls that play music. No, they have jobs, but not like they're, you know, going to Wall Street and trade. That's not a job they have, okay? Their jobs have their gentle jobs, their loving jobs. Sometimes their jobs is just to praise God. You know, they volunteer for this. The soul is not forced to do anything. They do what they want. And that's also in terms of reincarnation. Nobody has to reincarnate. And you would think, well, why wouldn't you stay in this beautiful realm of God, of love, of where the relatives are? Because they want to come here and be as perfect as they can to be with perfect love. Also, they want to work out their karma, which are lessons that they didn't learn from past lifetimes. And then the soul evolves, and it evolves, and it evolves until there's enlightenment. But that's also a choice. You have to choose enlightenment. It doesn't just happen. So, they are working in heaven. Okay, waking up at 3 a.m. these classes are reflecting things, I think, so I hope that's not bothering you guys. Waking up at 3 a.m. is very common with people. They used to be called the witching hour, and people were very afraid of waking up. I hate that term because it's not the witching hour. What it is when we're most vulnerable. So if, you know, you're sleeping and you're waking up at that time, it's when spirit is trying to get through to you and to talk to you and to settle you. So just know that it's common. Also, you know, again, the 1111 is common, and that's the highest sacred number. So for those of you seeing 11s everywhere, there's a whole bunch of people finding 11s everywhere. It's a high sacred number. It's a number to bring us into unity and to sacred love. Sorry, I gotta put these on again. So I hope you're not getting the reflection. Oh, hi, from Red Lake, Minnesota. Okay. Okay. Ellen, I've had many dreams about my husband who passed suddenly 13 years ago. I constantly dream that he is mad at me and never talks to me in my dreams. It drives me crazy. Can you please tell him what he's saying to me? It's very upsetting. He's not saying anything to you. Those are psychological dreams. You feel that he may be angry at you. And so what's happening is your psyche is trying to work it out. These are therapeutic dreams. You need to forgive yourself, and you need to recognize that he is not angry with you. You need to stop this because it's getting in the way of not only your dreams but your life. It's holding you back. You have to let that go. This is not from your husband at all. Your husband sends you love in dreams. He sends you peace in dreams, okay? That's it. You need to forgive yourself. Because whatever you did, believe me, no one is holding that against you in heaven. Well, Beth, your father, she's asking if her father is in a review process. We all go through a process where our lives flash before us, like on a movie screen. And we see everything we did, good and bad. And the soul is so pure, you know, and it when it sees this and it sees the thing that what we did, you know, what it did as a human being, it's very painful, okay? There's a mention in the Bible of the gnashing of teeth for those who didn't live a life in accordance with God. That's the gnashing of teeth. Can't take back the actions. They're done. They're over with. And so have to come to terms with it. If somebody is really bad, like Hitler or Osama bin Laden, they're going to spend many years in that review, because they will stay there until the last person who is affected has passed, indirectly or directly. So if you take Hitler, for example, there are a lot of survivors of survivors. So there's a lot of children of survivors who are still living and still feeling the pain because of the mental anguish their parents felt. And so he's still indirectly affecting somebody. And so it continues on. You know, there ultimately is forgiveness, but it continues on. So your father, depending on how he lived his life, can still be in review or not. It doesn't take a year in review for most of us. Anna, I had an incident the other day. I started having panic attacks the day my mother had died 14 years ago and didn't give it any thought. Actually forgot about it. Had no reason to have these attacks. Then 3 days later, I placed a tomato on a shelf and it was there for at least 10 minutes. Then I heard a thud and the tomato... Okay, what happened to the tomato? I don't see the end of this. Well, I'm hoping that, I think the tomato was probably a sign from your mother so that she wanted you to stop and go on with your life. But since I don't have the end of it, I can't tell that. Yeah, Shelley, so that's what I was talking about with the 11s. 11, 1, 1, 1, 1 is 11, 11. So yeah, there's a lot of people seeing all over the world, not just here, all over the world. And remember, we are one. We are one. You know, my sister are in China, Afghanistan, Tibet, Kabul, Ethiopia. Those are my sisters and my brothers. Those are my family. I am part of the global family, as are you. We are all part of it. So we're all seeing the 11:11. It's a call to unity. It's a call to love. And people have been seeing it now for years. You know, with the internet, I think people have learned what it means. But for years, I mean, I moved into my house, which is 11, without knowing anything about 11s. And it was years later that I finally said, what's going on? 11 started showing up all over the place. So, yeah. So if any of you are seeing 11, just know that. Do people who were troubled on earth continue to work on their souls forever? So if I think you're asking about handicapped people, I think, or mentally ill people, they're not mentally ill when they pass. They might have chosen to be mentally ill to learn a lesson. They might have been mentally ill to prove courage in some way or to teach somebody else, but they're not handicapped anymore in any way, unless they choose to reincarnate and be handicapped again. But that typically doesn't happen that frequently. So we all continue to work on our souls. All of us, all our souls. We continue to work, I don't think forever. I think someday, you know, hopefully this will end and there will be peace on earth. You know, Mary talks about that in Conversations with Mary of how we can achieve peace on earth. So hopefully, you know, that's kind of what we all want. We want heaven on earth. Okay. A dear friend passed away nearly 13 years ago. I never dreamed of her until once last year, and just a few weeks ago this year. I wasn't searching for contact, but on both occasions she appeared as her most beautiful and vibrant self. I knew they were special dreams, and that they were my friend. If you dream of someone and they're vibrant and they're colorful, that's real. That's a spirit visitation. And you don't have to be thinking about them. They decide they want to come to you. Sometimes they have messages. Sometimes it's a feeling of love. Sometimes they just want to let you know they're okay and they're with you. So it's a blessing. So take it as a blessing. Anna, do our loved ones see the things we do in memory of them? My friend Casey created a memory garden for her fiance who passed away suddenly. Does he know about the garden? Absolutely. And I'm hearing a name loud and clear. Is his name Manny? Because he keeps saying Manny. He absolutely sees the garden, and he's very happy that she did that because now she can go there and be with him in her own special way. They don't always like for us to run to cemeteries because sometimes it's a lot for us to get there, and truly, they're not in the cemetery. They're with us. We go to cemeteries for ourselves. We go there to feel that we're with them and that we're respecting them. But truly, fine. I mean, if you like to do that, that's fine. If you feel peace and do that, that's fine. But you don't need to connect that way. Or you need to talk to them. Hi, Anna. I'm seeing butterflies often, practically daily, and nearby around my house. Well, considering that butterflies have been really affected by the chemicals that we're using on plants and they're kind of close to being extinct, butterflies are one of the creatures that spirits send to us because they're colorful. They love to send color. Not all of them, but some of them. They love to because we notice them. So yeah, I think that somebody around you is coming through for you. How is suicide perceived by our loved ones on the other side? Well, there's a definite reincarnation when someone commits suicide because they have to come to terms with going against the natural order of things. Now I say definite. Now of course they choose, but it's definite. Now, is it a sin? In order to commit suicide, you have to have some instability in your life. It's against everything that has made us up. And so there needs to be, so that's weighed in, okay, when you get to the other side, the instability. But, typically with people who commit suicide, they came here to learn how to be strong. They came here to, in some way, fight their demons. And so they have to look at that and, look at their demons and how they can overcome that in a next life. So, and again, they may not reincarnate immediately. It may take a long time because they need to learn about themselves. And that's not painful to learn about, But again, it's against the natural order of things. We are not to kill ourselves. We are to respect our bodies as a tremendous gift. We're a mind, body, and spirit. They all work together. We are gifted to have our bodies and our minds and our souls. So there needs to be a balance there. When the soul goes into the physical plane, is it God or is it the soul that decides the lessons we're supposed to learn? It's not God. It's the soul. We come through in soul groups, and we know many of the people that you know in your life, that you're with in your life, you have reincarnated with and you have spent time with in many different lifetimes. And when we go back to be in that divine realm, there are souls there who decide with us what we're going to do if we decide to come back. There are also other souls that guide us and lead us. It's almost like we go into this remedial classroom to figure out what's next, but it's totally up to us. We decide our lessons. We know. Again, the soul wants to be perfect. So, it's not that the soul says, oh, I'm done. I don't want to be perfect. This is good enough. And that's not what happens. And again, this is hard for us to conceptualize because it's not like it is as we live on this plane. The soul wants to be perfect. It wants to be pure. It wants to be as close to this power, this energy, this vibration that we call God as possible. And in order to do that, the soul has to work through different lessons that were not learned. We're tough as human beings. We're stubborn. And we're very pulled by things that give us immediate gratification or things that give us gratification but not on a soul level. You can have great cars and great jewelry and live in a great house, and that's great, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's when you start worshiping that. It's when you're mean to people because they're not like you. It's when you perpetuate hate. It's when you commit crimes. All of those things. All of those things are for worldly gain in some way, for power. We suffer with the need to have all power. Globally, nations, but also individually. And those are the things that stop our soul from evolving. Whoops. Okay, I just lost it. Dina's asking about where she is to go in her life. She's at a crossroads. I think that you need to meditate. I don't think there are signs, but they're within yourself. And so you need to sit down with yourself and you need to meditate and do some soul searching about who you are. At this point in your life, with everybody leaving in different directions, you have to figure out who you are. It's really exciting. Like, this is an adventure. Like, you can be anybody you want right now. You can do it. Just set the wheels in motion, but meditate and ask for signs. Claire, I don't know about that. She's saying that she always heard that the 11:11 was the time when the barrier between the world and the other side is thinnest. I don't know if the barrier can be any thin than it is these days. It's really thin. Really thin. More and more people are coming out about their intuition and what they're feeling and what they're seeing. They are so close to us, again, because we're so messy right now. They are so close, and because many of the souls here are old souls. So it's very thin. It doesn't have to be at 11:11. I've never heard that before. I talk to those on the other side all day long. I don't talk to them at 11:11 because I'm either reading a book or hopefully sleeping. So they're coming to me during the day. There's no time that they come through. They come through whenever they want. Okay. Okay, Andrea, you don't pray to relatives. You pray with relatives. You pray with Mary. You pray with the saints, the prophets, whatever you believe in. You pray with them. The only one that can send the miracles is God, is the power, is the vibration. That's it. But you can pray with relatives and ask that they influence a situation. Now, when they influence a situation, they can't really do anything because whoever you're praying about has free will. That's it. But you can say, Dad, you know how I have had such a hard time with my sister, even when she was living. So can you pray to God with me to heal the pain between us? Can you pray with me? Can you help me be calmer? Yeah, you can do that. And that would be helpful. And they love to do that because you're asking them to do something in love. They're not going to do anything unless it's love involved. I'm sorry, Bruna, but I can't answer every question. I have hundreds of questions coming through in here. I would love to answer every one of your questions, but I'm only one person. So if anything is specific tonight, asking me about relatives or anything like that, as I said, I'm not answering those questions. I hope to answer, like when I had a radio show. When I was on the radio, I was on a radio show for a year and a half. That touched, I don't know, 200,000-300,000 people a night, every, I think, Thursday night. And the calls were backed up. We couldn't get to everybody. I can only do what I can do. My mother shared my video. That was very nice of you, Ma. Okay. Okay, Kathy is saying, my mom passed away 5 years ago and I still have not dreamt of her and I miss her so much. You know, just because you didn't dream about her doesn't mean she's not with you. They all don't come in dreams. You know, for whatever reason, you might not be someone who goes into a deep sleep where you can actually, you know, see and feel people. It might be during the day. She might be sending signs during the day. Don't look to what your expectations are. Feel it coming in all different ways and just say, Mom, I am opening myself up, and feel your heart opening up. I'm opening myself up to any way that you want to come and visit me, okay? Some people have an easier time with it, some don't. That doesn't mean that your relatives aren't there. Whoops, oh, that went too fast. Okay, whoops. So, Anna, my daughter passed away 2 years ago and lived 38 minutes. Why was she taken from us so soon? And that's a really hard question because, you know, as a mother, I have a hard time with the death of children. But the cleanest answer I can give you is that sometimes they change their mind. They don't really want to be in this world. They don't think they can handle it. That's why a lot of miscarriages happened or happen. Or there was a lesson, there was a teaching for you and your husband in that. You know, there are a variety of different reasons why it doesn't happen. Nothing that's going to make you feel better. I recognize that. But there are a variety of reasons. And those babies go straight back into their place in heaven because they were so close. You know, they go right back. But, you know, that's the best answer that they have ever told me. Beth is saying, if we reincarnate as something less than a human, why less? Nothing is less. Every creature, large and small, is just as monumental as we are. We just have a different level of intelligence and love. Anyway, like an animal or a bug, does that mean animals and bugs have souls? Can we reincarnate as something other than a human? So I personally have never met a dog with a human soul, but that doesn't mean it hasn't happened. Okay, the Buddhists believe that souls reincarnate into insects and animals and, you know, the whole realm of things. I can definitely tell you that animals have souls. I don't know about the insect world, but animals have souls. You know, dogs have souls, cats have souls. They come to me in readings. Birds come in readings. They have souls. They're created out of God's love. They're created to bring balance onto the planet and beauty. So why wouldn't they have souls? But I don't know about the humans reincarnating into them. Only because I have no knowledge. I didn't experience that. Okay, so a few weeks ago my mother passed away. I had a dream about her. That was absolutely her. She said she was fine, and it's really nice over there and very vivid. That is a spirit visitation, okay? And that usually happens within the first 6 to 8 weeks that they pass. They're really able to communicate through dreams. Sometimes people see them walking like through a hallway, in a bedroom, in the kitchen, and then again they pull back because they have to use their energy in different ways to find their place. Sheila is asking, when pets cross over, do they find their loved ones? Absolutely. Pets give us unconditional love. Unconditional love. When they come through in a reading that I'm doing, and they do come through, they come through so soft and so loving that, yeah, they find their loved ones there. There's a good movie that was out recently, something about a dog reincarnating. It was such a sweet movie that if you're interested in that sort of thing, you should really see that movie. It was a really good movie. Should I trust the energy I'm feeling when I'm around a specific person? Why wouldn't you trust the energy you're feeling? That's the big question. Why don't we trust what we're feeling? We know what we're feeling. We know if a situation is good or bad, or a person good or bad, or if they're an energy vampire. So an energy vampire sucks our energy until we feel depleted, okay? There's no reason for that, because then we're the ones who suffer. So trust your gut, trust the energy you feel. We're more than just our mind, we're so much more. So you don't need to overprocess it when you're feeling something or something about someone or uncomfortable or whatever you're feeling. Beth Sweeney, if the population is increasing, when and where are souls coming from? Well, there's two theories on that. There's this theory of soul splitting, where the soul splits to kind of get their evolution going quicker, so they can split into fractions, or that there are new souls coming through as well. So I don't know. To be honest with you, neither one of those work for me. But I don't really focus on that, because what matters more to me is that we're all here, and if God in his, divine plan is in creating more souls, then so be it. Or if the soul is splitting, then so be it. It's almost like they're holographic. But that's the best explanation I've ever heard, and I've heard it from them, so I don't know, I really don't focus on that. I'm sure you can find things written about that. Wayne, you're getting a visitation from someone, so you saw 2 rainbows. So Wayne saw 2 rainbows in crystal clear blue skies. That's a definite sign from one of your loved ones. And again, I know you all know who's visiting you. You don't need me to tell you. Because that requires conversation. And this is really hard to do on these videos, because I need to talk to you. And when I had the radio show, it was so much easier because I had someone on the phone and I could talk to them. I don't want to leave you hanging. I don't want to leave you empty. I don't want to leave you with questions. And it's too hard to do on these videos, because what I say, there's always questions around it. Dog's Purpose is the movie. Yes, thank you, Sheila. That was a good movie. I recommend that you see it. Okay, let's see. Okay, Maria, that was not your mother in the dream last night. So Maria's had a dream about her mother the other night, and she had her head down sobbing and crying. That's a psychological dream. That's just something you're trying to work out psychologically. Your mother's not going to come through to you. She is not sad. She's very, very, very happy. So don't worry about that. Okay. Well, I think that we're out of questions and we're almost finished, but I want to end this with a little meditation so that all of you can open up your hearts. So if you would please close your eyes and take a deep, deep breath. And as you exhale, exhale all pain, all sorrow, all anxiety, all stress, anything that gets in the way of you being joyous and happy and at peace. And as you breathe in, feel all the love and peace of the universe filling every piece of your body, anchoring you, and bring your focus to your heart. And feel your heart beating in your chest, rhythmically breathing as it expands. Expand your heart across your chest. Open your heart to all the angels around you, all your relatives, all your friends who are beyond the veil. Allow them in. Send love to each and every one of them. And allow them to fill you, mind, body, and spirit, with their love. And as you see your heart expand, feel Mary's hand around your shoulders, holding you, as she is mother to all of us, regardless of our religions, way of life, walks of life. She belongs, and we belong to her. Breathe in and breathe out. And you may open your eyes, feeling the peace that is God's gift to you tonight. So, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have topics that you'd like me to speak about next week, please post them on my Facebook page and I will entertain speaking about them. Have your questions ready next week. I really look forward to these sessions with all of you. It's my way of reaching more people than I can in my daily life. So, God bless you all. Thank you.